Living in the countryside is often thought to be the only place where solar energy can be put to work, but that is not always the case. In what appears to be a typical Phoenix subdivision, Larry and Jackie Kuriger live in what really is an experimental solar community powered by a centralized photovoltaic system. Larry is a retired Navy pilot. His wife Jackie is a former nurse and college instructor. 3 years ago, they walked into the future when they purchased a solar home.
Actually, our day isn't any different than any other retired person. Up 5:30, 6 o'clock. Jackie does her exercises. Then we go out and we do our morning walk. Takes about an hour, hour and a half. After our walk, it's maybe a little yard work and maybe a little...
The experimental community, Solar One, was designed by Phoenix home builder John F. Long to study solar energy usage in an urban setting.
Yes, I think we can consider ourselves pioneers somewhat in that this was the experimental group of homes that would be written up in the statistics.
As the first couple to buy property in the subdivision, the Kurigers showed up on a regular basis to photograph and take notes on the construction of their home. The 24-house subdivision on Phoenix's west side is a pilot project for a much larger solar community John Long hopes to build north of the valley. Solar One's photovoltaic field is located on the south side of the subdivision. 3,600 panels produce up to 350,000 kilowatt hours per year. The system is connected to the utility company. Under federal law, power companies must purchase excess energy generated by the residents of Solar One or any small power producer.
In effect, we do not pay utility bills. Some months we do, some months we don't, but on the average, we get back a check for $8 to $10 a month. But if we were to pay what we used to pay before we got into the solar program, we'd be spending $100 or more a month for electricity. So in effect, we're saving $108 to $110 a month.
The checks come from the power company through John F. Long Homes.
For the month of May, we received a check for $18.19.
I was a depression child, so we were taught turn off the faucets tight so they don't dribble and use a minimum of water that's necessary. So I was brought up conservatively. The reason I was thinking about going to solar was for the economy of it. If you use it correctly, you can save a lot of money. And money's kind of the name of the game nowadays, and I'm a real tightwad, so I enjoy saving money.
To receive utility checks, the Kurigers must produce more power than they use. Since power rates vary at different times of the day, they must also conserve energy during peak hours when electricity is more expensive. So ironing, sewing, cooking, and washing clothes, tasks that require a lot of electricity, are done early in the morning.
It's just like we were hooked up to any utility company. We're just aware of a change in on-peak and off-peak hours, and we adjust accordingly. It's fun. It's kind of a fun thing to do because it is different. And what we're trying to do is outsmart the electricity meter out in front.
Living with the sun adds adventure to the Kurigers' lives and helps keep their retirement active and stimulating.
I don't consider myself an environmentalist. It's just that I think it's an economy measure more than anything else. So the fact that we have free sun, it's hitting us every day, it's out here every day, and we're not using it. And by going to the solar power, we are using the sun. We're not contaminating the environment. A lot of people hollering about the contamination. That doesn't bother me. I think it's pitiful the way the money is being wasted, especially with the nuclear power. The nuclear energy doesn't scare me, it doesn't bother me, but the waste of money, I think, is sad. We're sitting here and the sun's doing our work for us. If you're not using solar energy, you are wasting solar energy. It's that simple.
Molten bronze that eventually will become an abstract design of the sun is more than symbolic for Warren and Carol Brown. The sun plays a major role in heating their home in the high desert grasslands northwest of Benson, with an ingenious system using river rocks and solar energy. The Browns come from Ohio, where Warren worked as president of a steel foundry. Carol is an artist and former university librarian. 10 years ago, they moved to Arizona to build a life together. They were married on their land and began building a modern 2-story house. But their solar system doesn't generate electricity. It produces heat. The house is hooked up to the power company, and lights and appliances run on conventional energy. Clearview collectors are the foundation of the home's heating system. Dark Venetian blinds between double-pane windows cover the south side of the house and absorb the sun's heat.
The way this thing works, the sun is heating those Venetian blinds. We're passing air over the...
During the day, a small fan draws warm air from the window collectors through ducts into a rock bed beneath the living room floor. The heat is then circulated throughout the house as needed.
It's 40 degrees outside and 70 degrees in the house, and it's 100 degrees down here in this rock bed.
Which keeps the house toasty, even on the coldest days. And Warren and Carol did move here to take advantage of Arizona's warmth. And by June, when the temperatures are well into the 80s, vineyards they have planted north of their home begin to bear grapes.
Carol and I decided to get into growing grapes about 8-9 years ago. Felt that it would be an interesting and romantic thing to do. It's a developing thing in the state. It's got a lot of problems, but 10 years from now, I think Arizona wines will be an important product in the state of Arizona.
It was Carol's idea to build a solar-heated home in the desert. First, she had to convince Warren of the economic benefits to be gained.
Carol had a dream of having a ranch out in the country, out in somewhere in the desert. And she had the idea of solar energy too. And, economically, it made sense to me because we had capital that we could put into building it at that time. And then later on, after it paid for itself, enjoy the benefits of practically costless heating.
During cloudy spells, an electric furnace automatically kicks on in the Browns' house. This option of having a backup system to supplement their Clearview collectors is something Carol feels is important for the lifestyle she and Warren have chosen.
Even though I'm an environmentalist, I'm practical too, and we have to have energy from electricity, and so, but we are making a definite contribution by using so much less of it.
The Browns built their house together, side by side. Warren acted as general contractor, and he and Carol provided a lot of the labor.
I love building things. I like building houses. I like seeing it come all together, and it's very exciting. It really is. We've done all kinds of almost impossible chores out here that people thought it'd be, you know, you two can't possibly do that, but we do it. Warren had figured out a way we could do it, so we'd managed to do it. We work real well together, and we live well together, and we love each other, and it just, it works out.
Once the Browns settled into their new home, Warren, using his knowledge from the foundry business, began sculpting with metals. Carol continued her paintings, often reflecting in her images the organic forms of the landscape.
It's part of me. It's something that wants to come out of me and say it's not just from being here, it's always been in me. And it's a feeling that I am part of the earth, and I am part of everything I see. And so I want to express that in my paintings.
We have a full, very full life, and solar just it's fitted in with our lifestyle, and we haven't had to accommodate it. It was fun creating it, and it just is a partner with us. It does its thing, and we do our thing.